Welcome, you're watching Vox News, your daily news updates with Rita Kamkumo. Our headlines today: hundreds of Nigerians return home after a month of being stranded by the coronavirus pandemic in Saudi Arabia, saying that they have been mistreated by Saudi authorities. Congolese President Félix Tshisekedi is enjoying a growing influence with his new majority in parliament. Moroccos King Mohammed VI gets his first dose of a vaccine against coronavirus as his kingdom launches its nationwide vaccination campaign. Our top story today: Nigeria repatriated on Thursday 384 of its citizens stranded by coronavirus restrictions for months in Saudi Arabia. A relief for some of them who claim they have been mistreated by Saudi authorities.
Experience in Saudi Arabia is somewhat terrible, to be frank, because what Saudi government did to us is not good.
The economic migrants' repatriation came after a few of them made a video which circulated on social media, showing them in appalling conditions and asking for help.
We are those that have been caught and detained in Riyadh. So that video is from Riyadh, and it's from one room. We call it in Arabic Ihda Ashar, that is room 11. They view it. What you see in that video is true. It's really true. So the government have maltreated us. If you can ask so many of us here, this is what they are going to tell you. Maybe some will tell you worse than what I said. So as I said earlier, those that enter with valid Igama are not supposed to be treated like this. Even those that enter with Umrah Igama, because we are all human beings. But they gather us as animals, they maltreat us.
I traveled to Saudi to make money. I have a valid document that justified my stay, but my document expired after 9 months and I was arrested by immigration. They seized my documents and detained me. I was in detention for 5 months and I don't know what I did to be detained for that long.
When people have waited for some time, agitation comes in. So when you hear the kind of comment, it is not as if the Saudi authorities are maltreating them. It is just that the expectation and the desire to go back home make them to long for their country. And so that's what I can say.
83 women and 1 infant were among the group of 384 returnees that were flown back to Abuja on Thursday. Nigerian authorities said the returnees were taken to a camp for coronavirus testing, after which they will self-isolate for 2 weeks before reuniting with their families. On the political front, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Félix Tshisekedi, is enjoying a growing influence in the Congolese parliament, with a new majority of 391 deputies out of 500 now supporting him.
391 national parliamentarians who will constitute the new majority of the Sacred Union of the Nation, an initiative, a Republican vision of His Excellency Félix Antoine Tshisekedi Tshilombo.
To the panel that accompanied the inquirer, you were remarkably efficient and quick, and the whole nation will be grateful to you. Thank you on behalf of all the Congolese people. And now, as I said, we must get to work to serve the people.
President Tshisekedi has been gradually reinforcing his influence in parliament after deploring that his reforms have been hindered by the continued influence of his predecessor, Joseph Kabila. Meanwhile, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Prime Minister Sylvestre Ilunga, a close ally to former President Joseph Kabila, suggested on Thursday that he will quit, in a statement read by his spokesman a day after he was voted out, as well as his government, by a motion of censure widely adopted by the National Assembly.
As a Republican respectful of the Constitution and the institution of the Republic, I must recognize the competence of the National Assembly to examine the motion of censure that has been addressed to me. since it was signed by 301 national deputies. Given that the majority of the members of the National Assembly who were elected in the 2018 general elections vote on Wednesday, 27 January 2021 to pass a motion of no confidence in my government, I am awaiting notification of this decision in order to carry out my duty in accordance with the Constitution.
The Prime Minister's destitution came after President Félix Tshisekedi in December last year announced the dissolution of the ruling coalition dominated by loyalists of longtime ruler Joseph Kabila. In neighboring Burundi, President Evariste Ndayishimiye on Thursday took an unprecedented move by instructing the national media regulator to meet with the news organizations it has sanctioned after the crisis tied to the 2015 elections to discuss the possibility of lifting restrictions.
What I'm telling you, what I promise you, is that all the differences we have had in the past must be resolved. There are media that have been sanctioned. I'm asking the CNC to sit down with these media and find solutions to these disputes so that we can put an end to them once and for all. Let these media and the CNC sit around the same table and decide to work together for the development of the country. We are all aware that the media contribute a lot to the daily life of citizens.
The Republic of Burundi ranks among the worst countries in the world for press freedom. The government blacklisted many local and foreign media outlets and compelled independent journalists into exile since a bloody crisis erupted in 2015 when former leader Pierre Nkurunziza ran for a disputed third mandate. It prompted the European Union to impose sanctions on the country that are still enforced. Invest in Africa, a group of companies working together to address the cross-sector challenges of doing business on the continent, improved understanding of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement through a webinar organized on Wednesday in partnership with the British Department for International Trade. The one-day virtual event shed light on the agreement's role in building sustainable economies and boosting economic growth in Africa. Ambassador Albert Muchanga, Commissioner for Trade and Industry of the African Union Commission, highlighted that if implemented effectively, the African Continental Free Trade Area has the potential to add around $450 billion to Africa's GDP over the next decade. The webinar focused on addressing the expectations, hopes and fears of businesses. It provided guidance as to how investors can be ready to make the most of this landmark opportunity. On the health front, the King of Morocco, Mohammed VI, received his first dose of a vaccine against COVID-19 on Thursday as the North African Kingdom launched its nationwide coronavirus vaccination campaign, according to the palace. Moroccan authorities, however, did not reveal which vaccine the king received. Instead, they said that the inoculation program will roll out progressively, free of charge, hoping to reach all Moroccan citizens and residents aged 17 and over, with the goal of returning to normal life. The kingdom of 36 million people announced last month it had ordered 65 million doses of AstraZeneca's vaccine and doses of the vaccine developed by Chinese firm Sinopharm. Senegal has officially recorded its first case of the more contagious COVID-19 strain that initially emerged in Britain. Health authorities confirmed the disturbing news on Thursday.
We hereby inform you that we have confirmed the presence of a British variant, SARS-CoV-2, in the samples of the second series.
Senegalese authorities have urged the population to scrupulously follow coronavirus safety guidelines, saying that these variants are transmitted more rapidly. On the international scene in the United States, Cicely Tyson, the pioneering actress and honorary Oscar winner, passed away on Thursday, aged 96. Throughout her acting career, which lasted 70 years, Tyson often tackled issues of racism and social justice and turned down roles she saw as reinforcing negative Afro-descendants stereotypes, including maids and prostitutes. She appeared on screen as recently as last year on the thriller How to Get Away with Murder. In 2018, Tyson was granted an honorary Oscar for her lifelong work as an icon for 2 generations of African-American actresses. Record producer Quincy Jones, in a moving tribute, said Tyson opened the door for Afro-descendant actresses from Angela Bassett to Lupita Nyong'o, while director Tyler Perry described her as a queen. Tyson's memoir, Just As I Am, had just been published on Tuesday. On the football scene, Thomas Tuchel on Thursday was officially introduced as new head coach for Chelsea following the dismissal of former Chelsea manager Frank Lampard after a poor run in the Premier League. Tuchel admitted that joining the Blues was a no-brainer.
It was the opportunity. It's one of the biggest clubs in the world, in the most competitive league of the world. It was the moment, and it felt like we should absolutely not miss the chance to be part of the Chelsea family and to compete for titles with the best managers and the best teams. So that was a pretty easy choice.
The 47-year-old is aware that he will be judged on the results after becoming the 13th Chelsea manager of owner Roman Abramovich's 17-year era in charge of the Premier League club. That's it for today. Thank you for watching Vox News.